Let's get some music going. What's gonna be the music au jeu today? We're gonna start out with some lo-fi, just to start out. What kind of lo-fi? Standard? Now we'll see what it's got. Let's go for it. Wait for the drop. Yeah. Good morning on this Saturday morning. What are we gonna do today? Today, we are gonna make the game that we made just in Word and GIMP over the last 2 days in Tabletop Simulator. So we're gonna dive right in. We have our nice little timer to say how long this is gonna take us. I think this will take us no longer than an hour and a half to do this. I've done it many times before. And by many, I mean a handful. So here's TTS. We also have our game design doc over here. This is the terrible name we came up with it. We're going to have a better name by the end of the stream. We also have GIMP, which we've been doing some drawings and stuff in. And this is our game board. It's going to need to be cleaned up a little bit. And then we have our Rondell action selector. Currently repairing is not a thing, so we're going to need to remake this. And then we have some of our token icons over here, which we'll need to come up with 2 different types of traps, one for planes and one for elementals. Everything else is functional. You know what these things are at a glance? Good. So that's what we're going to be doing. Now, if you've never done anything in Tabletop Simulator, it's pretty easy. But I say that from having done it a few times. So in TTS, essentially, if you've never used it before, it's probably the most popular tool to make board games and to play board games. So over the pandemic, of course, Tabletop Simulator probably blew up. You know, everyone was playing board games with each other. There are a bunch of other websites too that you can play board games on, like Board Game Arena. That's a big one. But here we can create a game for free, and then I can share the workshop link after it's all said and done too. So that is what we're going to be doing today. So what are the steps for creating stuff in TTS? So we're going to be doing, we can just do a little checklist on screen here. Do a little checklist before we start the timer. So we'll just go to the end of the doc. This is our TTS checklist. Tabletop Simulator checklist. You essentially have to do a few things. One, create the assets. So these are like the pieces and stuff. The pieces, the board. Then you need to potentially update the rules, because once we have it in TTS and we're going to share it, we need to make sure that the rules are at least at a point where people can play it. So I think the rules are basically there, but we might add a couple things. We're going to update the rules. Final updates to the rules. And then we're going to publish it. So last couple times, eventually also, we'll have like a little Kickstarter for it. So like a 1-day Kickstarter where people can get access to the workshop link, because there's a way to make it private. Now, this time, you'll just be able to just dive in. We'll make the workshop link public. So you just publish the, I forget what it's called. You just publish the game as a workshop. To a workshop. As a workshop? To a workshop? As a workshop. Alright, so once that's up, then you can just go in workshops in Steam. You can find it. You can download it. You can try to play it. Good luck. And that's the 3 main steps. Get situated. Listen to these chill lo-fi beats. Now, when's the last time I did this? Probably 2 months ago? Be fine. Now this is a speed run, but also I'm not going to be going like crazy fast because I don't want to make too many mistakes. But the gist is each of these things will take a little bit of time. Again, I think our goal is to be done around noon. And then maybe if I have a little bit more time, we'll play it today. But generally on Saturdays, either I'm going super long or I'm cutting it a little bit short. This Saturday, I think I'm going to be cutting it a little bit short for the stream today. So we're going to jump right in. And let's go to TTS. All right. Also, chat, this might be, if my glasses come today or tomorrow, the last day you see me without glasses. Crazy. What? I can barely see. Everything. This is a speedrun without being able to see. No, I can see okay, but man, it's been a rough week. All right. Here we go. Let's start the speedrun. 1, 2, 3. Bada bing. So first you got to create a room. Create a single player instance. So you can see I have some past ones we've saved and loaded, but we're not loading nothing. So let's close this. And you look around, it's going to load a random room. So it looks like we're in a little study. You could always change this background if you wanted a different background to start. You'll see the table too is a nice little square table. The game that we just made is going to have one big board, and then players are going to have some amounts of these tokens, but it's really just going to be two players facing each other. So it's a game that's not going to take up a whole lot of space. This one. Some other games we had took up a lot of space. If you wanted to change this background, you can do this on the menu. I believe it's in configuration. And in one of these things, you can change it. Save location, movement speed. There's a whole bunch of cool stuff you can do here. It's either a menu or one of these things. Options, maybe. But we're just going to keep it as is. Right now, we're not caring so much about the background, because people change that on their own. If people want to change their background, they can do it. Some games, however, they do make the background something that they like, where you can customize the background. You see, this is actually an image, like a 3D Google or whatever 3D image, which is pretty neat. So sometimes like a space game, you'll be like in a little space station, or if you're in a Western game, you'll be like in a saloon. It's kind of cool. Square table works well for us too. You could make the whole table your board, but I think our board's going to fit nicely right on this table. So what we're going to do is we're going to create each of the components. So we can create the board first, we can create the components first. Let's go ahead and see the different things we need to make. So go back up to the top. Components. So we have the map, and we have basically each of these tokens. Plane tokens, elemental tokens, trap tokens. There's going to be 2 types. We need to make a couple of ones of those. These are the airports. Then we have the 2 different colors for the routes, waypoints, and some sort of debris. Right now it's just a D. So those are the things we're going to make. So the board first. We are keeping this board. We're not modifying this board, so good luck to us. So let's go back to GIMP. And shuffling these things up. So here are tokens. We'll be exporting these soon. But we need a version of this board that is a board. That is an image. So we're going to be hiding all the pieces. You can even hide the grid. But the grid is the main part. Each of these things are quadrants. So what we're going to do is we are going to export this version of the board. And we are going to put it in our images and quotes and stuff folder. And why don't we create a little folder in here first to put all our assets for this game. So I'm just going to create a folder really quick. And we're just going to call this Plains Nature, because I don't have a great name for the game yet. We failed on that at the end of last stream. So in here, Plains Nature, and this is the map, and it's a PNG. So I'm exporting it right now. You can't see those pop-ups, whatever. It's fine. So now we have a map of the game as a PNG. If we go back to our board, right here, how do we put the map in? Well, the thing we're going to be using this whole time right now is this menu. So you can get custom tables, backgrounds, objects. So remember we talked about backgrounds. This is where you could do it. So we could be in a field. You know, you could switch it up and have a custom background. There you saw it was an image. We don't have a 3D image to use as a background for custom. We were in a little room. We're outside. I like the idea of being outside. We're in plains and nature, so I want to be in the field. If we go ahead and look at tables, you have different sizes of tables. We have a rectangular game, we can do that. The custom square is kind of nice if you wanted to make it bigger. So if we find that this space isn't big enough, you kind of want to do a custom square or custom rectangle. And in that way, when you assign, or you're creating it, you can really change the size better of the object. But we'll just go with this guy. It's kind of nice. And components. So you can have saved objects. So here are a bunch of objects I made. This was for a card game. Actually, two of them. That I created components and saved them in here. And then components. This is where we're going to be most of the time. If you really want to get lazy, they have a bunch of components already created for you. So if you wanted to prototype something super fast, you know, you got dice, you got pawns, and all these different sorts of things, standard playing cards. We're going to be creating custom stuff across the board. We're not using any of this stuff because we're going to be basically transforming images into objects. So we're going to be choosing custom. That's this one right here. And yeah, these are the different sorts of things you can make. It's a little bit small. Can't really zoom in too well here, but so we have a board. This is what we're going to do first. You have tiles, tokens, figurines, a deck, a card, dice, models. You can even do asset bundles. So if you had like Blender or any art tools, you can create some pretty complex stuff in here, which is neat. Lastly, there's a custom PDF. This is what we're going to be using for the game manual. So the game manual in Word is going to be really easy. You just export it as a PDF. Then in here, you do a custom PDF, and boom, you have your digital game manual. So let's do our board first. You see it's a square board. This board will actually adapt in size to the size of the image that's going to be assigned to it. So I could just slap this down, and I'll right-click, and I'll say, okay, well, what is the image? So we can just go back, and we can find our board. And we say open. You can say, are we going to do it to the cloud or locally? Right now, we'll just do it to the cloud. And we just have a root folder for TTS. And it's done. And did that work? No, I messed up. Why did it work? Yep. Whoop. Woo. I think I locked it. I did. Let's go and where is the custom? There you go. I don't know how I messed it up. There you go. Upload. Import. Okay, I didn't click the import button. I just canceled out of it. There you go. Look at that. That's what we were looking for. Look at that map. Beautiful. A little hard to see the yellow on white, not gonna lie. But we'll deal. Could make it a little bit brighter. But I kind of like it. Alright, this is a speed run. We got our map. It's right in the middle of the board. You can lock it in place if we wanted to lock it in place so we don't accidentally keep moving it. There you go. Board is done. So now we want to do the individual pieces. In order to do that, each of these pieces needs to be its own image because they are going to be custom images created as tokens. And then once we have a token, we can duplicate the tokens to basically have piles of tokens on the board to place out. So that's what we're going to do. So we are going to go back to our GIMP. And here is what we're dealing with. We're going to go back to this. And here are our different tokens. So these are each going to need to be saved as their own image. Now the size of it doesn't really matter because we can scale them up once they're in game. If you cared a lot about the resolution, you might do that. So what we're going to do is each of these, all we have to do is select them. Now we could even go back to the Word doc, which we copied and pasted in here. Like I could copy this. I could go back to GIMP and do File, Edit, paste as new image. And there you go. Now, however, this was already gone into Word, and now it's went from GIMP to Word, and now we're coming back. So this is a really bad resolution, so let's not do that. We'll just capture our image, then we'll copy, and then we'll do edit, paste as new image. You could do Shift Control V, so we can even do that if we want another shortcut. And we'll do that for each of our assets here. So we're going to take our airports, we'll copy it, and then we'll do a Shift Control V. Boom. Even these things, you know, is this worth doing as its own image? Sure, why not? We'll just do it all because it doesn't take too long and we want to show the whole thing. So we get this whole thing, copy, Shift Control V. Copy, Shift Control V. This one. Copy, Shift Control V. Now you see there is some empty space. If we want, we can trim the images as well. This is pretty easy to do. But we might not. Shift Control V. So what other things do we need? Well, we need all our trap tokens. So I'm going to just copy this, paste it over here. Now we have two versions of these. We're going to have one for elementals and one for planes. So why don't we just take the color for planes, which is this orange color, and we'll just make this the outline. And actually we'll take the outline for that and the inside of this. We're not doing that. So there you go. There's a plane trap. And we'll do one for the elementals. And we'll just choose this color in here. There you go, 2 different trap tokens. You could also create one trap token and just have different shades of them in doing it in Tabletop Simulator itself. So if you didn't want to have different colorized tokens, we could do that. The best way to colorize them is to have them be like a white or black color, so that when you're colorizing them, it's easy to shift between them. So let's do that instead. Instead of having 2, we're like, well, why do we want to have so many assets? Similar for these, right? These are the same exact thing, they're just different colors. So what if we took these and just made white versions of them? Or black and white versions. So if I went in here, and I said, well, we'll just do like a gray. Okay. And then do that for this as well. And for the inside to just be white. So there you go. Those will be our generic tokens, and we can colorize them in Tabletop Simulator. So we'll take this, we'll just delete these. There. Let's discard. Discard. And we'll just use these as our assets. Copy, Control-Shift-V. All right, so we got all those assets. These are our components. We also are gonna need this action selector. And let's create a new one. So we're just gonna create a circle, and it's gonna have 5 actions that you can rotate through. It's because currently repair is meaningless. We don't have a thing for repair. But we do have things for these other ones, and we'll actually write out the names. So let's do a new image. This is going to be circular, so we can just make it a 400 by 400. I'm not sure why gray is the default right now, but it is. We will add an alpha channel, so we can go ahead and delete it. And then we're going to take a circle. If you hold down Shift, it'll create a perfect circle. Well, it should. Shift or Control? There you go, it's Control, I think. Control, Shift. Maybe it's Control and Shift at the same time. I don't know. Good enough. We'll move this thing over. Move it. Move. I see it moving. Alright. Circle. What is going on? Oh, is this my layer? I'm moving the layer. Why? Why are you the way you are? Okay. Let's just make a circle. It goes to the edges. It's a 400 by 400. There you go. And what is the background of our circle going to be? Something, again, we can make it white to make it whatever color we want in Tabletop Simulator. So let's do that. Control-Shift-A to not select it anymore. And we need to divide this up into 5 segments. How do we do that easy? You can't do one right down the middle. Alright, we're just gonna do a nice line. Right, zoom out a little bit. Shift. Alright, there's a line. And then ish. And then that's 2. 3, 5. We were so close. We could just wait. This side just needs to be a little more like this. There we go. That's beautiful. Let's clean that up a little bit. And yeah, this is oopsie. That was Control Z. We just need to color this in. Yeah, this is fine. It's our beautiful 5-sided thing. Alright. Do you like our circle? So each of these are the 5 main actions. Because currently we don't have anything for repair. So I'm just going to destroy repair. We're not even going to have it in here. I'm going to the design doc to do this. So we're just taking out repair, just to be clear. So these are our 5 things. We have root, build, move, path, trap. Or path. This basically path and root are the same things. Now you could have, say, like build, because I'm doing a build, because you either 2 things. You could make those separate actions, like build waypoint or build elemental. But whatever. Whatever. So let's just put that in black. And we're gonna do it not in text because we're so good at drawing. Build. This is the build space. Beautiful. And then we have root. And we're gonna put that here. Root. You. Root. And then we have move, battle, and trap. Move. Battle. Oh yeah, using the mouse. So good. Oh, that's a big R. It's a big P too. Look at that. All right, here's our beautiful image. So now we have basically everything, I think. And if we don't, then we'll make it. So for each of these, we'll just export them. And here. So this is our plain token. And then we got our airport token. So file export. You can't see the pop-up, but whatever. I'm just calling this airport token. And then here is our elemental token, or nature token, I guess we'll call it. Kind of both the same thing. Nature token. We're calling these guys waypoints. So we'll export this. Waypoint token. This is something just to mark that there's been something destroyed. This is debris. So we'll export this. Yes, it's just a letter with a thing, but you need something for everything. So this is a debris token. Then we have a route pathway token. So export this. Route pathway token. And then we have 2 more. Here is our trap token. Trap token. And this is our action selector. Action selector. Now, talking about the action selector, this is a rotational action selector where you're going to move around and choose actions as you go around. One of our mechanics was, if we go to our design doc here and open it up, we randomly rolled a few different mechanics. A circular action selector, route building, network building, and legacy tracking. Now generally, you're going to lean into one mechanic more than others when you're building a game, especially if you're doing something quickly. But you do want to incorporate everything. So for us, I was leaning really into the network building idea of the game, because that really feels like the core experience. Whereas you could say have a really complex action selector and somehow make a game from that. That has to do with network or route building. But I went with that, and we have a little bit of this legacy stuff we're trying to incorporate. For me, the starting point made sense to make it the network building and go from there. So we got our components here. Great. Let's go back to TTS here. And now we can quickly slap all these guys in as tokens. So if we go back to our objects, I can't make this any bigger, but I can make, you can always zoom in anything. I'll leave it to you. Custom. So we have tiles and tokens. What's the difference between tile and token? So if we just put a tile out here and zoom in real good, you see tiles have a set width to them. That's a pretty thin sort of thing. If I go to token though, and I right click, you can see there's a thickness to the token. There's also a merge distance. So this thickness will make this much thicker. So for example, what if I had a thickness of max and we chose our airport token? You can see how thick that token is. Look at that thing. That's a thick boy. We do not need those tokens to be that thick, but it's actually pretty nice because if we wanted this to really stand out for the board, then it can do that. You can see also our board needs to be a little bit bigger, or we'd have to make these smaller because these are going to have to fit within the quadrants of board. So I kind of actually like the chunkiness of that, but it's probably just a little bit too chunky to be honest. And you can see also how well it did at taking our image and making this a token. It's slightly unfortunate because if we go back up to GIMP, our image didn't look that bad, but it took that and it made that. So that's kind of funny. But let's go ahead and delete this one. We're gonna make our board, we can unlock this. And you can make this bigger. How do we make it bigger? All you have to do is press the plus button. Woo, look how big it is. Now, if we go like this, it's kind of overlapping with our faux wooden board here. This is where if you wanted to use a custom space to make it really big, you could. But I think that's fine. And we can just put it on top like that, have it there between us on top of the board, and lock that baby into place. Alright, so let's make our piles of things. Now, you say, well, the board's too big, you won't have any rooms for piles of things, and that's a good point. So we'll just move this to the, I'll make it one smaller. And we can zoom in. Are there any room? That'll be fine. Oh! I didn't like that. Alright, that's good. Let's get our pieces in here. So we will be using tokens, and why don't we just use like half the width. So let's put one down. You right click on it. We'll choose the thickness to be, I guess this is a certain number. I don't know, ish. Doesn't need to be perfect. And we're just gonna go through each of our tokens. So first we'll do this one. And import it. So there we go. We do want it to be, before we duplicate them, we want it to be the right size to fit in here. So here we'll do a minus. And we'll keep shrinking it until it basically can fit on our grid. So that looks pretty good. We can make it a little bit bigger. So those will be our airports. Not bad. Some people will be like really annoyed at these yellow lines. It looks great in the ocean, not great on land. This is where like a nice board, it would switch to a different color as it like went across the land. But whatever. So we're gonna take this guy, and that is our sample one. Now if you want to create multiple of them, it's just like anything else, you can just copy and paste. So if I took this and I do Control-C, Control-V. Wait. Control, take it, V, and V, and now I can just go, woo, look at all of them. Look at all our airports. We do not need that many, but we have a whole bunch. So now we can go to Objects, and we can do that for each of these. Why does the land look like a plane? I made the land look like a plane, Squiddle, because it's planes versus nature is the nature of the game. So you have airplanes fighting against nature, and when I first made the board at the very beginning, I was like, the first island will be a plane shape. So that's why. It's completely arbitrary. Alright, so let's make another token here, and we're just going to do this really quick. Here are our nature tokens, which are like elementals. And we import. What does it say? I did not read it. I don't know what it said. What a lovely face. So this needs to fit within the board as well. There you go, that's pretty good. Let me make it a little bit bigger. Alright. And then we can make a whole bunch of those as well. Now, in TTS, you can create bags for your little items to go in, so they're not just strewn across the table. If we have some time, we'll do that. But for right now, we'll just do another copy and just make a whole bunch of them. Of course, you don't really need to create a whole bunch of them. If people are accustomed to TTS, they could just have the one asset and they could easily, make duplicates themselves. So we'll go ahead and create the next one, just an arbitrary width to give it some heft to it. We'll create our airplanes themselves and import it. It says you cannot supply a custom URL. Yeah, whatever you say. Look at our beautiful airplane. All right, so these things also need to fit in the spaces. Come on now. Yo! There we go. That's plain. Oh, I made it too big. There we go. And we'll just get some planes. Cool. We got the next one. Here are our waypoints. Do it to the cloud. Make them a little bit thicker. They don't always look this poor. Let's just put it that way. The better your image is, the more exact it'll look better than this. But it's clear. It's clearly different than the other things. That's about right. So we're gonna take that and let's do a copy. What else we got? Let's create some of these very, very simple tokens. And we can make these super small. This is just to designate that there's debris. So when something gets destroyed, you want to put out a debris token on the space to note that there's destroyed. This is the legacy component that we're trying to do. So we'll just do that. I don't know how big it ought to be, because like, I think if there's debris, I think in the current game you should be able to go over it. But it would be interesting to have like multiple pieces of debris, and for that to influence legacy stuff later. So we'll just take that, we'll copy, and we'll just give yourself a few debris tokens. Alright, we only got a few more. We have our pathways, or our routes. So these are where we're going to create two different colors. Because white on white doesn't work great, but this is where we can shift the color because we want one color to be orange or red for our planes, and the other ones to be green for the nature or elementals. So we can go ahead and move these guys over here. Just to be kind of together-ish. There we are. Just kind of scattered about our table. You know how you do. So here is this guy, and first let's shift the color. So how do you shift the color? You have this up here. I'm just gonna go find a color one. Oh, first we need to give it the image before we do any of that. My bad. Oh wait, is this the image? Oh, it is. It's just it's just white. Never mind. Here you go. It's in the pen tool, so we can go here and say we wanted to make this like a red or an orange. Let me apply it. It didn't work. No! What? Lies and deceit. Come on now. No, that's supposed to work. That's just changing the pen color. I'm kidding. That's just changing the pen color. You right click this. Color tint. There we go. I'm not crazy. There it is. All right. All right. Very good. All right. So these are for our planes and stuff. And this is going to need to be a piece. Basically, I was thinking like little pieces of wood, kind of like fences you'd have in Agricola or any other game. And these are connecting spaces. Now, once you have these in TTS, this is where it's easy to say, like, you have a bunch of them. Woo! And this is easy to rotate with Q and E. So, like, if it's connecting that way, you could just put them like that. And then the next one could go like this. And, you know, super easy to play this in TTS with just these. You're connecting your quadrants together and creating a path. So we're going to take these. You're going to have a whole bunch of these. Let's just put these off to the side. And we can just create a whole bunch. Then we can just take this and make a green version of it. So we'll just right click and do green. fly. Oops. I had them all selected. Excuse me. Let's take this one. This is the one we want to change the color of. And apply. There you go. And then this one we can copy and just create a whole bunch. Cool. If you want to copy multiple at once, of course, I could just take this whole pile, copy, paste, and you duplicated it. Now we're going to do the same thing for our trap tokens. So I think there's the last object that we need to create other than the action selector. So we'll create a token, put it in here, right click, choose URL, and we're going to choose our traps. We'll make them a little bit thicker. It's not that big a deal. And here is our trap. Now you can't really see it because it's all in white, but if we add our color to it, let's tint it to this orange. You can start seeing there it says T for trap. And we can make it a little darker. So there you go. Now these are going to be fitting on spaces as well, so let's make it small enough to fit on the space. There you go. Not bad. Make it a little bit bigger. So we got our orange ones. Whole bunch. Our pumpkin traps for the pumpkin season, and then we'll create a green version for the nature. Woohoo! All right, so we got all our components out here. Looking pretty good. Whoop. Come on over. So our plane stuff, airports, planes, routes and traps, and the same for the nature side and debris. So that's basically all you need to create the whole game. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. The last thing we want is the action selector. So this is going to need to be somewhere on the board, probably off to the side, and we can lock it in place. So we're going to create that component. Yeah, there's a delay. there's a delay. And for this one, you could create a tile. It could be a token. Why don't we just make this a tile? Our action selector. And it's going to be a good deal bigger. So we'll just right click on it. You can have a bottom image to it if you wanted. This can also be thick. So tiles, if you think about games, you know, this isn't a token. This is often having numerous sides and stuff. For us, we only have one side. So actually, let's just go ahead and make it a token just to simplify it. So here's our action selector. We'll see what it looks like. This needs to look a little bit better than the other tokens. We'll see what it looks like. There you go. That's actually pretty nice. Whoop. It's got this edge to it. That's way too big, but you get the idea. So this is where players are going to be choosing what they're doing. And we could modify it too if we want, just by drawing on it. So let's just put this somewhere. Why don't we just move the board up a little bit? Because players could be on the same side of the board. This is a two-player game, so we can just sit next to each other rather than be on opposite sides of the board. So why don't we unlock this? Move it up a little bit. Give ourselves a better angle. It'll fit. Yep, it'll fit. Come on now. Do I have a piece? I have pieces underneath it that are blocking it. Get these out of there. You know how you do. Come on now. Yup. 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 And we're in. It's just too big for our table. Oh, beautiful. We're done. We're done. We're done. We're done. Okay. And this thing, we can just put this in the corner. The debris, let's just put this over somewhere. And why don't we have it in the middle? Let's just say the planes are off to the left over here. The green stuff's off to the right for the nature. And let's put this in the middle. Cool. Now, if we lock it in place, then you can draw on top of objects. So say we have all our objects in, and we're like, I don't want to go back, and I don't want to have to edit all this stuff later. I just want to modify what's here. That's when we take our pen. We can go ahead and just draw on it. So we didn't really specify what direction you're supposed to move around this guy. So I could just say like do in purple, whatever. And you can just draw right on it and say you're supposed to go that way. Now you can see, depending on what you're drawing, there certain aspects might not work or it might look weird. But that's okay. So let's make sure this is still locked, and then we'll do this. And why don't, we just say you have to go this way. This is the arrows. This is the way you're supposed to be moving. Okay, pretty obvious. Cool. Now you're going to need another little token in order to say, hey, where are you on this? Where do you start? Where are you? Why don't we just take one of our trap tokens and just say that's the icon. You could do a new one, but if you just make this a small token, this is the orange, this is the plain people, and this is the other one. And, you know, if you wanted to make them the exact same size, you could do so. So this is the action selector. So now we basically have the whole game in TTS. Bada bing, bada boom. Let's go ahead and save it. We have yet to save it. It does autosave, but if you go down up to Games, Save and Load, you can create a new folder for it. So I've created new folders for each of the games I've made in here. Let's go ahead and create a new folder. I don't have a name for the game yet. The Plain Nature Battle Game. We're just gonna call it Plain versus Nature. It's versus Nature. See ya. Thanks for hopping on, Squiddle. So we'll go ahead and create that. And we'll create a new version here. This will just be V1. V1 Plain versus Nature V1. And save that. Oh, that's the folder. This is so weird. There we go. Alright, so now it's saved. So if we go back to our design doc, we've done this, right? The only thing we haven't created is the PDF of the rules. So if someone's going to play the game, they need to know how to play the game. They're not going to check into the stream from when the game was created to learn how to make or play the game. So this is where we need to finalize the rules. But before we even do that, let's go ahead and create the PDF. So how do you do that? How do you make this thing an object? I love the connections. Let's go ahead and save it. And we'll just say this is created and designed by Quasico Games. This is copyrighted. So we're going to do a file, and all you have to do is save as. You don't see the pop-up here, but what we're doing is we're just creating a PDF version of the game. So this used to be a challenging thing to do in Word, but they've made it a lot easier now where I can just save any Word doc as a PDF, and it just poofs as a PDF. It's pretty sweet. So we're just going to call this Planes vs. Nature. Thought of great names for the other for the other games. I have yet to come up with a good name for this. All right, so now we have our PDF. If I show the browser here, you can see that. There it is. So here is our PDF. If I could, you can scroll, you can see it here. So what we're going to do is pop this baby in. So we're going to do a custom object. Our component is custom. And we just go to custom PDF. And you put it right there. You right click. And we're just going to choose the PDF we made. It's right here. You're just going to upload it. Import it. And there it is. And you're like, wait, I can't see anything. Look, it's our PDF. Woohoo! It's huge. You can click through it, and it's just like looking at the Word doc. Pretty cool. Now, of course, you don't want it to be this big. You can put it off to the side. Now, all objects, you can just hold down Shift, or I think Alt, and you can look at them that way. So this doesn't need to be that big. And again, people, if they want to take a look at it, can always take a look at it. So we can just put this off to the side somewhere. Just like that. There you go. And lock it in place. All right. So there is our game manual for how to play. Hour in, we're almost done. Let's go ahead and see what we still have left to do. So if we go down to the bottom, we created that. So the last things to do is see, is there anything in the rules that we need to clean up before the game can attempt to be played? And we need to publish the game as a workshop so anybody can play it. So, what were the things in the rules that we were going to do? We already destroyed the trap idea. So that's all good. We already said what game end is. Legacy is just like, something. The battle thing may or may not work. And then I think that's it. I think one of the things we didn't set up is how the game starts. Go back and forth, placing airports in any available location. So we need to say, how many do you put down? Can you put down one per continent? Because the goal is at least 30 away. Right? We said at least 30 or more routes or pathways between connections. I don't know, maybe that's a strategic thing. I think there's a lot of flexibility. We made this like a grid. So, I don't know. How about we just say 6? It would make sense to have 6, so you could do 3 connections to each of them. So I think at the beginning, we just need to know what's set up. Start with the playing player, go back and forth in any available quadrant. Until each player has placed 6 objects. Play starts with the planes player. Planes always gets to go first. They have the advantage. The objective, we already said that. We're not doing this. The objective, we can just copy down this. So the objective is this. All right, you did it. Yeah, you can only build it on islands. There's no other terrain. You cannot wrap around with routes or paths. You call them paths, pathways, same thing. So let's just go through our rules and make sure that at least there's nothing that's like crazy outstanding. Move. Cool. Actions. When choosing action, you must move. It's a circle. Use the action that you land on. Cool. Entertain. They can move freely. You cannot build a route where a pathway exists unless you have a planar element adjacent to it. You can do it even if you have a full. It can be destroyed. If an opposing piece moves over a trap, they trigger it. There's different types of traps. Oh, we didn't have the different types of traps. We just have T for trap. We need to create different types of traps, and they need to be two-sided. All right, so that's a thing. So the idea is the top half would be T, and the bottom half would have these things on it. Which is a little tricky in TTS if you like, you're gonna be looking through. I guess you can peek to look at them so that your opponent doesn't know. Not sure. And then battles. If you have planes, you can choose your attempting to build. So you can use a battle action just to destroy it. Yep. Game end. This is future enhancements and sequels. Wait, DLC expansions. Okay, so this is the main thing I think we need to do is create the other side of the traps, because there's 4 types of traps that we created, and we could do it really dumb like in TTS. At least we could try. Here, let's try to do the really dumb way and see if this works. So I'm gonna go back here. Let's take one of our trap tokens and see how it has a T on one side. Let's make it bigger. And if you flip it, right, it says T on the other side. If we lock this in place and here with this in red, we just said Boom. Okay. And then now we unlock it. That's still on the piece, right? So we created a boom one. And then we can just copy and look at all the boom ones we have. So we're totally not creating new assets. We're going to create different versions of these. This is our detonator ones that say boom. Then we have, what are the other types? Oh, that might be the sonic boom. I think we should at least write them. Detonate, sonic boom, magnetic pull, and relay trigger. All right. So let's delete this one. Let's get a new one. Make it real big so we can draw on it. And we'll flip it over. So this one is called a detonator. Let's do red. First, in order to draw on something that needs to be locked into place. So we're gonna say detonate. Detonator. Detonate. Good. This is unlocked. There you go. That's our detonate one. We'll create a new one. Then we'll lock this into place. This is the sonic boom. Traditionally, sonic booms have been blue in my mind. Sonic. Boo. Boo. Boom. Okay. There we go. We got a sonic boom token. Trap. Why should I do this whole thing and traps are just completely worthless? It's just like, there was never any point in creating traps. It was just a failed game design idea. Let's go ahead and lock this. Our next one is called magnetic pull. I don't know. What do you think magnets are? For me, I view magnets also as like a yellowish red, but we want this to be visible. Straight magenta. Magnet. I don't know why it's it's doing what it's doing. Magnet. And then we'll have a picture of a magnet. Because this one gets a picture. There you go. That's like the two-sided magnet. And we'll go ahead and toggle that off. Beautiful. Alright, we're going to create one more. And then we have our 4 different types of traps. So let's take this token, rotate that guy around, flip him over, make him huge. Oh yeah, I think it's supposed to be the other side. Just to be slightly consistent. Just the slightest bit of consistency here. And relay trigger. So we can lock this guy in place. And we'll just make this black. I don't know. It's fine. Relay trigger. Ooh, oh, it was working great till then. Relay. Oh! That Control Z did a whole lot of Control Z. Try that again. It looked better the first time. Okay. Good enough. And then we can unlock it. Alright, so these are our 4 different types of traps. What we can do is we're going to copy them and put them over here, and we'll make these green ones. So we'll just take these, you right click, change the color tint for nature. Boom. So now we have our different traps for each of them. All the previous trap tokens here are garbage. We do want to make sure that they're the right size, though. So maybe I should make them the right size before duplicating them. So let's go ahead and flip. It doesn't matter. Just go right back down. They should fit on a spot. Ish. Boop. Zoop. Boom. If they're not identical size, will they be able to know which ones they are because of the size of them? No one's paying that close attention, right? Hopefully not. Those are size-ish. Yeah, that's fine. And then let's make these green. There we go. So now we got our stacks of these. And we can just create a whole bunch of them. Good job finding the right ones. Let's take this. And ba-ba-boo! Ba-ba-booey! You just shake them up. And they become a ball. Maybe there's a few too many. Maybe it's lagging. Look at all the traps you have available to you. Okay, so we got our traps. If we go back to our Word doc here. Is there anything else we need? We created our trap types. We have our battle terms. It's kind of a big part of it. And the elementals are nature. It's just kind of a synonym. And I think that's it. I think the rules are enough. Oh, for your actions. On the first turn of the game, choose any action space to start on. Let's make that bold. Yeah. There we go. Let's go ahead and update this. And this is our final shot. Before we upload a workshop link, we need to come up with a title screen. Or a title screen. Yeah, I'm in video game land. We need to come up with the cover art. And we need to settle on the game name. Planes in nature. Planes have taken over the earth. The nature is trying to fight back and get infrastructure down to its size. the air. Not. Why did I say nautical? This is not water. Uh, um. I like the word elemental, but like if you put elemental in like the title, it's gonna be like, what does that even mean? Come on, I'm usually good with names. Flight. The battle of the natural planet. No. The rule of aviation. Aviation versus naturalization. Natural aviation. Not my planes. Not my elementals. Fall of the aviation empire. Ships. We haven't used the term ship. You know, that's for spaceship or boat. Planes versus nature. Ultimate conflict. All right. I think planes versus nature. Conflicting connections. It's so lame. Is it bad enough to be good, or is it just bad? I don't know. I'm gonna have to live with this name forever. I couldn't think of a name. Planes. The nature of... I keep using the word nature. We're not going to ChatGPT. We're not using help. This is us. We're going to use our brains. That's all I got. War. But it's not really war. You're just putting down things and they're going at it. That's it. That's the name of the game. Womp womp. Let's create a new version of the PDF. So save as. We can just go back to where I'm at. And go to PDF, and we'll just overwrite what we had. All right, so we'll go back to TTS, and let's upload a new version of this guy. So if I right-click and don't lock him, I just put a new one in. Just delete it. All right, components, custom PDF. You should be able to just change the object or whatever, but I don't really care. All right, so here's this thing. It's off to the side. Slap it down and lock it. All right, so we've done basically everything, you know? We can just say, "Hey, we did the rules." This is in the rules, by the way. This is the checklist at the bottom. Let's go ahead and publish the game. So we'll go ahead and save it again. Save and load. Planes versus nature. If we want to save it, we can just do this, and we can just say planes versus nature v2. you save the game. I don't know why. I think that's a search at the top, but the UI does not make any sense here. Okay. So there you go. So how do we do a workshop link? It's remarkably easy. So if you go to games and workshop, this is how you get games from a workshop. So like if you're going to download a workshop, you can see here, this is one I created for Masterpiece Museum. This is one of the first things I streamed, if not the first thing I streamed, 2 months ago. It was creating Masterpiece Museum. Still have yet to play it. It's going to happen someday. You can go to workshop at the top and you can see workshop upload. And all I do is click workshop upload. You have to create the name of the workshop. So this is going to be our super lame name, which is Planes versus Nature, Conflicting Connections. The workshop description, let's just copy and paste our prompt for the game that we made. There we go. Our thumbnail URL. So we're going to need a URL of the game. I think we could just use the map, and why don't we just slap the title on top? That seems pretty good, right? So let's go back to GIMP, and we're going to create our image of our game. This is going to be our thumbnail, and this is what people will see when they go to the game. So let's go back to GIMP. And here we need to make a thumbnail for our game. So it already has a giant plane. They might think that's the actual thing, but no, it's just an island. It's one of the islands. And we're going to create some text here. Let's create a new layer just so if we need to reuse this, we can. And this is going to be the title. And we could do, if we just wanted to do it this way, we could. You could do text. And you could just say blah, 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 blah. And you can make it, huge. And just make it big. If you wanted the title of the game to be that. I don't know what font we want to use for this. If we go back to Word, because we've been doing a lot of our own text, But this is a title. We gotta at least be able to read it. This is a thumbnail, right? Probably. If we go in here, we can just get a sense of our fonts. Oh, you can't even see the drop down when I choose fonts? Huh. That's weird. This drop down, so see, I'm going up to the drop down stream. I'm looking over to see what's displayed. You can't see the drop down. That's really weird. All right, let's go to the end. Let's make this. See what fonts we got here really quick. Show card. You want one of these? I hate it. Why do I even have that as an option? Something like I always thought this looked like a cool font, but this is more like a video game font. You can see it changing. Why am I zoomed in? Because my glasses. I don't have glasses. Wide Latin? Everyone loves wide Latin. I think I've already used that multiple times. It's one of the most common. That's almost a thing. Is this an Old English game? Are these like futuristic planes? I think we said it was futuristic planes, but if you had like Old English, you'd be like, oh, the planes are taking off and the people are wearing bifocals as they're battling the elementals in the sky. Just nice little italic font. No. What about this? Ooh. That's just a nice font. Magneto. I'm a sucker for fonts that kind of have that slick style. I mean, this looks like a children's game. It looks like, yeah, that's good. You know what? I kind of like it. I kind of hate it, but I kind of like it. It's very playful. But this is a war game. Is this a war game? It's a battle control game? Did we run out of list? Is that the most? Did I get through every single lo-fi song in this website? Guess we're switching up the genres. Time for some dubstep. Chill step? Yeah, chill step's good too. Alright. yeah, we'll use this. What is this font? Kirsten? What? Kristen ITC? This is what this is? Okay. So if we say hello, and I choose Kristen. There it is. And our title is Planes vs. Nature. I need to make this huge. Oh my gosh. GIMP really sucks at doing fonts. I tell you. Alright, make it really big. Planes versus nature. And we need to press enter. Conflicting connections. The color needs to pop. You know, a nice cyan. No. I mean, if I spent more time on it, you know, you could have planes and nature be a different. We need an outline is the problem. There's too much going on. I think the big thing is that it needs to be a colon. There we go. That's what it was missing. Alright, I still can't see. I'm still blind. There we go. That's that'll do it. Yup. For everyone who's colorblind. That's a nice deep purple. Alright. And then what can you do here? You can make it bold and stuff. What does this stuff do? I don't know. Oh, that's not good. That's just adding space between the words. Clear the style. Bold. Nope, no bold. Italics. Yeah, italics. And underline? Strike through. Okay. Alright, that's our beautiful title. Could there be a worse color? Could we have a worse color than purple? You know, maybe we should get rid of the grid. Yeah. You know, I can almost read that. That's fine. Alright, that's it. We're going to go ahead and file export this as. And this is going to be our box art. Beautiful. Just sensational. Alright, so now we can choose our thumbnail. Our thumbnail is going to be our box art. And then we have to go to our options. This is important. So the name of the game. We already put this in, but we need to put it in again. Planes. Man, it's impossible to do this. Versus nature. Conflicting. Nope, that's too long of a name. In short, it's just going to be Planes vs. Nature CC. The type, it's a game. Complexity. Medium? Playing time, no clue. What do you think this will take? Probably 60 minutes? Let's take 60 minutes to keep putting little things down. I bet it's shorter, but we're going to put 60. It is a 2-player game. I put 3. 2. There it is. Now we have to say what tags it is. This is very important. This is a board game. Is it abstract? No. Here's planes. Is it a family game? No. Is this mature? No. This is an original game. Strategy game. Oh, I would consider this a war game. Yeah. Role-playing thematic. This is pretty thematic. I mean, look at this. You got planes, nature, battling it out. Click. Assets. We have backgrounds, components. Do we have particle effects? No. We do have the rules. And that's about it. Language, it's in English. Very, very good. And this is it. So now we can click the X. Now, when we click upload, we're going to get an ID. If we were going to do like a Kickstarter or, you know, something where a whole bunch of people are watching and we were going to limit who could access it first, this is where we would hide the screen. But for this one, whatever. Go nuts. So when you click upload, it's happening. It happened. It's done. So here's our workshop ID. Can I copy this thing? Come on. Copy. Save this. You need to go to your workshop. Alright. There you go. Here, just for posterity's sake, there's the workshop ID. Join Twitch today. I'm not logged into Twitch. I'm literally streaming right now. It's not allowing me to put it in the Twitch stream. What do you mean log into Twitch? Multi-stream. There you go. It did it twice. Thank you. There's the workshop ID. All right. So we just click OK. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go and see if we can see in the workshop. Now, how do I share this instead? I need to share Steam itself. So we're just gonna share a new window really quick. And it's Steam. There you go. So here's Steam. And what we're going to do is we can go to workshops. And I can go to my workshop files. And here it is. Woo! You can see the other ones we have here. Masterpiece Museum, Buy Our Boats, Toys for Tithes. So if we click over here, here's our beautiful thumbnail. Who wouldn't want to play this? Like, look at all the tags. So here is where we can say, hey man, we just made this on stream. It's so good. Haven't even played it yet, but man, am I stoked. Leave your comments to say how you liked the game. There you go. If I go, I can designate who sees it. So, see the visibility here? Right now, it's hidden. Only I can see it. If it was unlisted, I could then share the link. And this is how you'd like do a Kickstarter, or if you wanted to have a limited release, you could share the link with people, they could share it around. You gotta just make sure your friends can do it. Right now it's public. So if I just make this public now, anyone can see it now. So you can go ahead and play. So there you go. That's how easy it is to put it and create a workshop. So if anyone can go now, they could look this up. I don't know how they would find it other than find this stream. Hi, how you doing? Play Planes vs. Nature. Does the game work? I don't know. And they could download the workshop and play it. Pretty cool. That's it. We did it. Wait. Boo! We beat 130. It is up. It is playable. We are not going to play it right now. On stream, when I have some buddies or, you know, more people are watching or whatever, where people want to jump on, there'll probably be a day of streaming where we just play the games we've made on TTS. We have 4 games already that I've created, which haven't yet played on stream. So that'll be another day. But the game is ready. It is all good. So that's going to be it for today. This Saturday, we did this. We beat an hour and 30 for creating Planes vs. Nature in TTS. You saw how easy it was creating pieces, creating the board, creating different components, modifying them, modifying the colors, making them bigger, putting a game manual, uploading it to the workshop. There's so much more you can do in here as well that we didn't go into, but to create something basic, it's really not that hard. Often people love having scripts, so that's like an advanced thing. So say you're playing this as like a grid, wouldn't it be nice if you slap this down and it just snapped into parts of the grid, stuff like that. But that would be for another time, and if you weren't speedrunning it. So thanks for tuning in today. Thanks for tuning in the last few days for this tabletop development. It's been a lot of fun. I will catch you guys on Monday. Not sure what I'm going to do yet next week, but I look forward to hanging out Monday through Saturday, 10:30 to 1 EST. As always, I love you guys.